I believe that because of history, right? Because of the wars, First War, Second War, communism, post-communism. So, for example, like my mom, she's very strict. She was raised during the communism. So communism made people really strong, and people had to fight for things they wanted. They had to work to survive. So there was not much of a space for love and caring. So I was raised that way, which is also great. Discipline. I was the best student in my class. You have to be the best student of the school. I was the best student in my school, but you're not the best in Poland. So I kind of grew this way, feeling like being criticized over and over. But I kind of like it in a way because, I got used to being criticized. And because of that, today I'm in the place where I am. And in Brazil, people are lighter with criticism, which is what I really like here. Yeah, I feel loved in Brazil more than loved in Poland.
But let me go back to that comment on communism without being much political here. Because in the West, what I mean by the West is mostly Western Europe and the US and all that. People see communism like like a hippie lifestyle. That's our like a romantic idea of communism. People. We believe that everyone is smoking weed, everything is accepted, gay rights and all that. And I think we are badly wrong. But I would like a Polish person to tell exactly what communism as an experience.
Exactly. As an experience, right? How was the real communism during the normal time? So people had the same rights. Yes. Like, let's say if you were a cleaner or you were a doctor, you were getting the same kind of wages, the same salary. Yeah. So it's like, egalitarian, population. Egalitarian, yes. So everybody has the same rights. But for example, you got a paper on which was written how much of a product you can buy a month. Is it liberty? So let's say my mom would go to shop and she would buy 1 kilogram of chicken, 1 kilogram of meat, 1 piece of bread, let's say per week. This was the only thing she could do. The other thing is, there were no products on the shelves. The coffee, for example, drinking coffee in communism was almost impossible. We didn't even have a coffee machine. It was really rare. Wow. Like jeans. So when it comes to buying things and having things, it was like everybody had the same. The other thing was you could not travel anytime you wanted. If you wanted to go abroad, you had to ask the government for a permission to travel. So is it liberty? Of course, a lot of people say like this, there was work for everybody during the communism. This is true, because when you were 18, you had to go to army or you had to go to work. There was work. But how fair is that someone who studies at university for years gets the same wages as someone who, for example, works in the shop? That's not liberty. Yes, that's really bad. And the other thing, like women also worked very hard at this time. Yes, they had to make clothes. Yeah, they didn't have also the opportunity to work on higher positions, for example, than men. So for us Polish people, communism was nothing good. And it was actually killing the economy of our country. So our hero, it's Lech Wałęsa, which probably everybody knows. Yes, and of course, yes. And other people who helped him. And he kind of he solved us from communism. And we are so grateful. Communism finished in Poland in 1989 when I was 3 years old. So I remember on my skin, I felt post-communism. I remember there was just one shop in the city in which I could see toys, which I could never have. Jeans, my first jeans I had maybe when I was 17, 15, something like that. And yes, of course, people smoked a lot. Yes, they could have access to cigarettes. They had great access to vodka. Yes, so why was that? If you give people a lot of access to alcohol, you can kind of manipulate them better. Yes. People get drunk. Yes, smoke cigarettes, put some music, and that's called freedom, which we Polish people we don't disagree with. And today, if you praise communism publicly in Poland, you can get to jail. So it's illegal.
Really? Is that serious?
It is that serious. You cannot say communism was great. Even record yourself this way. You would be sentenced. And even the streets, there were a lot of streets in Poland with a name of people who were in favor of communism. Even the name of the streets were changed, the name of the schools as well. So it's a serious thing. Yes. We are really against it.
So I hope the people in Western Europe are listening to you, because they might learn something here. There are a lot of people now praising communism without knowing what is it. And I will give another example. When I lived in Krakow, I was a bit impressed by seeing John Paul II name all over the place. First is when you arrive, it's the airport. It has his name, and then I think one of the main streets has his name, and squares. And there are plenty of references to John Paul II. And I told this to some people in Western Europe. John Paul II in Poland is seen as a sign of freedom, and people say, "How come? He's part of the Vatican. He's part of these fascist things and repression and all that." But you have to understand Polish history. You cannot just see other country with the lens of your own. It's wrong. And for Polish people, John Paul II was relevant.
Exactly, yes. I mean, because I also feel that people didn't really listen to John Paul II. You have to listen to him talking to people. So basically, he was not even praising the religion. Guys, follow me. He was saying follow God, follow good. Yes, be the good person, preach the good things. And he was the one who helped Polish people during the communism. He said like this: "Don't be afraid," he said to Polish people. When he came, he couldn't say nothing. He couldn't say, "Guys, let's make a strike. Let's finish the communism." He just said like this: "People, listen to me. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid." And we read this "Don't be afraid" at this time. So John Paul II is our hero. He's the guy that I listen to even till today. I sometimes put some video and I listen to his kind words of love, words of freedom as well. Yes, he was just preaching good things. It was not Vatican